The whole time I was at UCLA, I was like, this is literally just a warm Berkeley.
Go Bears.
Go Bruins.
Would you say that before the college tour and post the college tour, that your perception of your top colleges changed?
Yeah, I think so. Seeing the student life getting toured, whatever. I feel like all of that boosted my perception of UCLA.
If you're watching this and you're a student, a high school student, and you don't know what thing you're interested in or what field of study you're interested in, from someone who has changed majors, I think 3 times, it's totally okay to have college be as your stepping stone to figure out what that is. Hi there, my name is Presh, and I share tips and tricks to help students and families feel less overwhelmed and more in control. In this video, I asked my 16-year-old sister for all of her thoughts with her college tours in Southern California. I did a previous video on what she was looking to get out of these college tours, which you can find up right here. With that, let's jump right in. Now that you've officially done your first 4 college tours, I want to start off by asking, was there anything that surprised you from those tours?
Yeah, I think the colleges that surprised me the most were UCLA and USC. I mean, I came in knowing the most about them, but for example, I didn't know much about the campuses and just the community life. I just knew about the academic programs. So for example, something that surprised me about UCLA was that it was super similar to Cal. That the whole time I was at UCLA, I was like, this is literally just a warm Berkeley.
Go Bears.
Go Bruins.
Go Bears and Bruins.
Anyways. Moving on from that. I think USC, what was surprising was just because it was the week before Thanksgiving, and a lot of people were studying, a lot of people in midterms and stuff like that, midterms. But the campus was still super lively, which was surprising because I was like, wow, there's still a lot of people here. And even then, I think someone was saying how the campus still wasn't as lively as it usually was, and I was like, wow, students are really enjoying their time at USC. And also they had this whole little student town called the Village, and my friend who was doing college tours to me was like, this reminds me of Cornell because of the brick walls and college town within a town vibes. So that was also pretty surprising because I didn't know USC was like that, especially in the heart of LA.
Yeah, it was my first time checking out UCLA and USC, and the USC campus, I do gotta say, is my favorite in terms of cleanliness, bouginess, and just it felt like anything I needed was there. But yes, UCLA just it felt so much like Berkeley, and it felt good vibes because of that. And diving more deep into these things, I'm wondering, with community and student life, was there any particular college that stood out to you when it comes to community and student life?
Yeah, I think, I feel like I'm a little biased towards UCLA now, just because it reminds me of Cal a lot. But we got toured by a student who went there who isn't an admissions tour guide, so it was a very raw tour. And yeah, I think just learning more about the community and student life from him, he was yeah, even though the classes are hard, it's pretty academically rigorous, people are still having fun. There's a lot of clubs, there's a lot of events, there's a lot of free events at UCLA, which is cool. They have movie screenings and concerts and stuff. I think that's pretty cool. I know other colleges have that, but I think just the overall vibe of UCLA is what made me like it more. And the community seemed very diverse, especially because it's a fairly large school. I think there's 40K undergrads, or no, 35K undergrads. So
Wow.
Very diverse community, which I also liked. And yeah, student life people just seem even they have a good work-life balance.
Yeah, I think our tour guide, he mentioned that there's a particular staircase where people go on blocks of ice.
Yeah, and then they slide down. Or no, not the staircase, the hill that the staircase is on. They
Wait, so the block of ice is on the hill or on the staircase?
on the hill at the.
That doesn't make sense if
At
it's
the
on the staircase.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so it's on the hill, and they go or they go mudsliding, which seems super fun. All those fun little traditions.
So I think because of those traditions, the free events, the concerts, the movies, did you feel between all these different colleges, you felt like you saw yourself more in UCLA?
Yeah, especially because like I feel like I don't know, just like more people I know have went to UCLA too, than like the other colleges we visited. Um, so it's just like if like a lot of people I know have been to are like going to UCLA, then it's like I can see myself fitting in there. Yeah, because like I liked USC's community and student life and it's being like pretty lively, but I think I just like feel like identify more with UCLA's, I guess, just because it's a lot like some of the other colleges I've been around to.
Cool. Yeah, I think the one of the things you mentioned before the college tour you wanted to get out of was to see if any of the campuses, like when it comes to political science and your like interest in like internships and other general opportunities, did you see any of the colleges that you visited that you felt like provided those opportunities that you want to like apply for and try out for and just overall like um grow in those things?
Yeah, I really liked. Okay, so I know I was talking a lot about like academic programs specific to my major, but I think the thing that I liked about both UCLA and USC was the fact that you could take like, for example, like electives at USC or like pass/no pass classes at UCLA that are more fun classes where you get to like deep dive on an issue. Like for example, USC like it's included with like because I think they said they cover like 18 credits a semester or something.
Mm.
And then usually if you're only doing one major, you get like 16 credits for your major. So then you have like an extra elective class you can take every semester that's just for fun and do whatever you want. And like I think like for me, like how I take advantage of that is taking more art classes because like I still want to like pursue like a creative thing and keep like learning creatively. And I like how USC gives the opportunity to do that. And for UCLA, I like how their electives are just like, or they're not their electives, but they're like pass no fail, pass no pass classes, or like pass or fail classes, like no grades, just pass or fail. I like how they're all just like little small classes where they deep dive on an issue and like the professor's like super passionate about it, everyone in the class is super passionate about like one small issue, so I think that's super interesting too. And like I think just like the opportunity to learn things outside of your major and like get like a more, I guess, like interdisciplinary or like
Multidisciplinary.
multidisciplinary education is like really important and really cool that those schools both foster that.
Got it. And in terms of I guess now that you've seen these different campuses, I know you've also mentioned like UCLA is like really exciting and it feels like it's more on your like top of the list. Would you say that before the college tour and post the college tour that your perception of your like top colleges like changed?
Yeah, I think so. Cause well, UCLA, I didn't know much about it, and I feel like I like it more now after I toured it, just because like seeing how it's so similar to Cal and like seeing like the student life getting toured or whatever. Like I feel like all of that like boosted my perception of UCLA. And then for USC, I kind of cause I originally like my personal opinion before like really hearing other people talk about USC, I was like, oh yeah, USC's cool. They have a lot of resources. They have a specific public policy program that's like oriented towards like they have like a super like big field work requirement, I think, for example. So like you have to go out and do internships, you have to go out and work with like NGOs or non-profit organizations, stuff like that. I thought that was really cool. But then like when I talked to people before visiting USC, a lot of my friends were like, oh yeah, USC is like, I wouldn't apply to USC. USC is one of those schools where it's just like the community is not that diverse, or like it's quote unquote the university of spoiled children. And I think after, and then that like kind of tainted my view on USC, but I think after visiting USC, I think like my perception changed of like, oh yeah, they do have student supports, they do have a lot of first gen students, they do have a lot of low income students at USC. So like even though I bet there definitely is like some quote unquote like spoiled children at USC, just like touring it made me realize like that's not everyone, and I was like, if I go to that school, I'll still be able to find my people.
Yeah, I think maybe one of the things I took away from doing this college tours with you too is like it's the whole idea of like don't judge a book by its cover. And I think definitely we'll have our own biases of what a particular college is based on people that went there, or based on what we've read on the news, or based on what people talked about with it. And it's awesome to see that you've made your own perceptions from the experiences you've had, and you've also like addressed your own biases from it. And I do gotta say that I think one of your biases, you've seen the Berkeley campus, you've seen I've taken you to some of the classes, I think shown you maybe some of the dorms and different like housing, and just you, I think as a middle school student, like you've seen maybe younger
I was elementary. It was
elementary. So I think the seed was planted really early on, and if you end up going to Berkeley, I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't want to be in the Bay Area though.
If you end up going to Berkeley, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, I'm going to UCLA because it's not in the Bay.
Okay. Well, okay. So last questions here. You're a junior, and I think have plans to tour other colleges. Is there anything that you want to do differently or the same in those next college tours?
I think the same is just like come in with an open mindset of like learning about these colleges, like regardless of people have said. Like it's just like I'm coming in with like a well, not like a blank slate, because I am biased towards Cal and use that to inform my perspective of their colleges. But like an open mindset of just like learning about these colleges, not judging them, and like listening to students who go there. And I think one thing I want to change for what I do on like future college tours is to have questions prepared. It's like look into the colleges like a bit more to like inform questions to ask these tours, because like during these tours I was kind of just making them up on the spot, and like not, and like that made it harder. For example, after the tour, like think of questions to ask the tour guide. Not as much at UCLA or USC, but when I toured UCI, I like did not know what to ask. So maybe just like preparing questions beforehand. And just looking at like the specific programs too. So like, for example, if our student tour guide is part of a program I want to be in, knowing specific questions to ask.
Got it. Okay, so it sounds like open-mindedness, preparing questions ahead of time. Any other things you want to keep or do differently in your next college tours? No questions.
I think those are like the big things.
Okay, I think the last question that I have is for those that think of students or maybe classmates that you have who have not done college tours or feel confused on like what to apply for, which colleges to apply for, what that process even looks like. What would you say, what tips would you give those students who are unsure of what post high school life could look like? And let's say they want to consider college but just like don't know how to get started. What tips would you give those students?
I think maybe just like think about what you're interested in. Like that's the main thing, because I think like you don't want to like go to college and like study something you're not interested in, and like, or like go to a college and like that isn't really good for the program that you're interested in, for example. Like I think you really just got to know like what you're interested in, and then branch it off from there. It's like, yeah, you can have like your college preferences of like, oh, I want it in a small town, oh, I want it in a big town, but like if you don't know what you're not necessarily interested in, that makes it a little harder to like decide like which colleges to look into. Because like I've known for a while that I've been interested in like political science, or policy, not necessarily political science, like depending on the school, public policy, political science, whatever. I've known for a while that I've been pretty interested in that, because like I believe like advocacy is super important. And I think like I use that to inform like looking into colleges that I'd be interested in going to, because like all the colleges that I'm interested in going to are like have really good public policy or political science programs, or like located in places that can get me really good internships, for like positions in government, positions with like big nonprofits. So I think just like even if it's not something like super specific, like knowing what major you want to do, just knowing like kind of like the field that you want to go into. So like medicine or the arts or like teaching, something like that. Like just knowing at least the field. and I think that is really helpful when informing like colleges to look into.
Yeah, I do think it's terrific advice. And if you're watching this and you're a student, a high school student, and you don't know what thing you're interested in or what field of study you're interested in, from someone who has changed majors, I think 3 times, it's totally okay to have college be as your stepping stone to figure out what that is. And the major you apply for, whether it's political science, public policy, English, math, whatever sort of major, it's not something that you have to stick to for your entire 4 years, 5 years in undergrad. You can definitely change and like hone in on the interests that you develop in college. But maybe to add on to Gabby's point, it's like whatever sort of like study or class that felt natural for you in high school, maybe that's a good place to explore of like, hey, what careers do people have with this sort of major, or what types of classes do people take who are interested in biology. But kind of starting to ask those like deeper questions can help with narrowing down what those programs might look like. But even if you're unsure, college is really that place that can also help you figure out what that can look like for you. All right, well, any just general last things you want to share before we wrap up the video?
Good luck to anyone who's starting the college process. I will be getting on that more in the spring semester. So
good luck to you. Basically.
Good luck to future me too. Yeah, that's all.
Cool. Well, thank you all for tuning in. I hope that you've gotten some good tips on what it's like to go to before a college tour, during a college tour, after a college tour, and what to look out for. If you want to see more of these sort of videos, then
make sure to smash that subscribe button. Hit that like button with your pinky finger. And if you want to see future videos like this and be reminded for when they come out, make sure to hit that notification bell hard.
Thank you.
Okay.